OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang, gang, gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang, gang, gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang, gang, gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang, gang, gang. OG, I draw up the plate. Niggas don't know what to think. Thought I get money, you change. What you thought we was the same? Still stay away from them clones. Niggas better leave me alone. Talking about niggas is low. Run with niggas who don't know you. Whoa, I make that zagging when city to city. You niggas not hot in your state. If it was money to get a hit Henny, we get it and never complain. Same go for the gang, and we split it up all the same. I can't really eat, let's stay straight, cause we go way back in the day. My day ones from back in the day, they still hang around me today. You wanna come round us, you can't. I'm rolling up loud, it's great. But mama, she bad but complain, cause I'm too in love with my dreams. And I gotta get on the plane, and go get this money with Dizzy. I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang, gang, gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang, gang, gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang, gang, gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang, gang, gang.
I get the bag with the gang, taking that Zach to the bank. Henny be all in my drink. You niggas is stupid, you think that should change? You not even hot in your gang. Ain't nothing even hot about your gang. You niggas be lying about same. Be posting them pictures of guns for the fame. Niggas just look at me different now. Say that's your man, but he a clown. But fuck around with the fuck arounds. Little nigga, you should cut it out. Me and my niggas take different routes. Punch a bitch nigga all in his mouth. Hold up my nigga, we different now. I need a Robert, this is my style. I get a check today, I spent it all tomorrow. I get a bitch today, she probably a foreign model. I get a check today, I spent it all tomorrow. I'm with my gang today, tomorrow never promise.
OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang, gang, gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang, gang, gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang, gang, gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang, gang, gang.
I think I'm cute, I know I'm sexy, I've got the look that drives the girls wild. I got the moves that really move them. I send chills up and down their spines. I'm just a sexy boy. Let's go, y'all ready to do this thing tonight? I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I make them hot, I make them shiver. Things get weak whenever I'm around. They see me walk, they hear me talk. I make them feel like their God ain't real. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. That mic flip though. Hands off the merchandise. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. Welcome everybody to another edition of the Pocket Locker Podcast. I am your host with the most, all the way from the East Coast, and as always, folks, I am in airplane mode. As always, folks, we have got another one lined up for you this evening, and I feel like we're always saying that. Maybe that's because we're always doing it, but it's going to be a special motherfucking episode. Is that Wayne? Is Wayne in Gather? Wayne, you kind of need to get in the Gather because there's literally some wrestling business to handle on today's show, and I'm not at all being figurative about that. In addition, we've got ourselves an Uncle Bobby special. So, folks, let's go ahead and jump into it. As always, we need to get things started with our communion routine. Make sure you say hi to your neighbors, grab your drink, grab your smoke, kick back, and it's time to catch a vibe. Please raise your glasses and hold on to your asses. Through him, with him, in the unity of the flying man. All glory and honor is yours who fled for our sins forever and ever. You may drink. It's been a long day. I had an extra gulp. Boom, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong. Stay hydrated, stay thirsty. It's not a contradiction. It's not a contradiction at all. All right, folks, and our communion song for today comes to us actually for some Jesus freaks. I got to admit, the Catter City Church. Look, when the music is good, the music is good. This one ain't about Jesus, though. It's called Thank You for Being a Friend.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. Yeah. I'm not ashamed to say, yeah. I hope it always stays this way. Head is off, won't you stay?
OG Roddy in the house. All right, Wayne was first. Look at the trees a second. Thank you.
I'm not ashamed to say, yeah. I hope it all will stay this way. My hat is off. Won't you stand up and take a bow? Yeah.
And Crystal is there. Hey, Crystal.
Thank you for being
right, I got Crystal and Trees. Wayne. Cuz is in the house. Ooh, too babe. Huh? Oh, man. It's good to see y'all. It's good to see y'all. All right. Also, I think Stephanie's here and Lena's here. UC Love is here. Nice. Thanks for coming out. All right, and then in Gather, we got some of the two-timers. Two-timers are my favorite. We got UC Love and Bree and Carrie Ann and Stephanie and Lena. Nice. All right, but Wayne need to get in here. Paige and Wayne. Is Wayne at work? Wayne, don't be working. Nobody said people were allowed to have lives and schedules and shit. Supposed to be available. And yes, I just changed scenes to the same scene. I'm on top of things, gang. All right, but look, this first thing, I don't know what to say. It just feels like betrayal on so many levels. Like, you finally see a wrestler on a major news broadcast, a man of color at that, and over his shoulder, he is carrying the World Heavyweight Championship of the National Wrestling Alliance. Oh my goodness, y'all don't understand. I'm talking about Harley Race's belt, Ric Flair's belt, Dusty Rhodes' belt. Okay, like this belt has history. Maybe one of the most historic, it is definitely one of the most historic championships in the history of the fucking business. But then the motherfucker is on Fox News, Conan, talking about Hillary Clinton owes us an apology, Conan. Disrespecting just the entire business, got the entire game fucked up. And so as the United States champion of Word Wrestling Entertainment, you know, they hit me up like, yo, man, you know, he's fucking up the whole business. The champ has to get up here and deal with this. So I did not wake up in the morning wanting to review footage from fucking Gutfeld on Fox News. Motherfuckers out here disrespecting the game, so here we are. Y'all want to get into this? I really... you know, the things that you have to do that I don't even know. I don't even really want. I wish this didn't happen, but let's go. It happened. Here we are. Oh my God! Just look at the graphics. Is it deliberately supposed to make me think of Garfield? Because this motherfucker's a cartoon. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Center state. Look at the belt, y'all. No. What is that? What is that? What are you doing? What are you doing? Can we make him take the belt off? It's really distracting me.
I'm Tyrus Cooper. 360.
Jay, make sure you share the screen on YouTube.
Oh, you guys are not.
I know you're upset.
You're seeing it on YouTube. You're seeing it in Gather. I think we're good, Lena.
Okay.
Yeah.
Set, and rightfully so. You just saw the Durham report, which proved that there was no evidence to support any investigation with Russian collusion and Trump. The feeling it's like being neutered. And speaking of being neutered, Greg is off tonight because he's taking his dog to get snipped. Sorry, Gus.
No.
But better you than me.
No.
But yeah, the Durham report. And you're asking, how did this happen? And I wouldn't blame you if you never watched CNN or MSNBC again. And judging by the ratings, you're not. Because you're pissed. We've been bamboozled. We've been had, hoodwinked. Or as the kids would say today, we got catfished, America.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like they sent you a picture of Scarlett Johansson, and when you went to meet for dinner, it was Anna Navarro.
This
It
is
was
a travesty.
years of wasting taxpayers millions of dollars investigating something that was all, I don't know how they say it. And how did this all
Okay,
start?
gang, I think this man has just been hit upside the head with a steel chair far too many times. And somehow woke up thinking maybe that Tucker Carlson was Ted DiBiase or something, or that what's his name at the top, fuckface Rupert Murdoch is Bobby Heenan or some shit, and thought maybe those were the type of management he needed to listen to. Like I don't know what explains this betrayal of the entire wrestling universe and decency of humanity, but I have problems with this. Like, this is wrong.
Because when we saw Trump speaking, we saw a guy speaking for the common man, challenging the establishment.
Oh my
He was
goodness.
brash, in
Oh,
your face.
no.
He told it like it
no.
is. And we liked it.
No.
This is what the liberals saw.
He is licking Trump's booty hole with that title all over his shoulder, gang. The rest of you saw some shit out of Star Wars? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty
Oh yeah, this
fucking
isn't a great
much.
show anymore. It's mine tonight.
Y'all should stop telling on your crazy ass
So we
selves.
hurt their little feelers. And the left and the media had to break out the tissues.
Bro, I feel like I'm
Luckily,
gonna have to
Jeffrey
fight this
Tuber already
man
had some handy.
and hurt his nuts and take that goddamn NWA title.
One guy a Tubin fan in here? But I think toilet paper would be way better because, let's be honest, they're all full of But Durham's investigation was based on facts. Facts, not feelings. Remember, every day
Bro, would
there
y'all
was some
get a new
breaking
line
news and how the
already?
president was a Russian agent. It was, how do they put it, worse than Watergate.
This is far worse than Watergate. Why this is worse than Watergate is worse than Watergate. This in some ways is worse than Watergate. I keep getting asked, are there echoes of Watergate in this? And there are.
And he was right. This was worse than Watergate. But the bad actors weren't from the Trump administration. And speaking of bad actors,
Dude,
remember
I think
this?
all this report said was like
Michael
there was
Flynn
some
promised
bias.
full cooperation to the Mueller team and is prepared to testify that as a candidate, Donald Trump directed him to make contact with the Russians. Yes! He goes to jail, he goes to jail, he goes to jail. Lock him up! Lock them up!
But even when their story started to fall apart, they kept it going. Like any good catfish. They pretended their camera phone was broken, and that's why they couldn't FaceTime you, America. Heck, even Manti Te'o could tell you this was a catfish.
That's fucked up.
Oh, you saw the documentary. So who was the catfish? Well, they wanted us to believe it was a big naughty redhead that was going around, was going to ruin the world and do all kinds of bad things to us. Turns out the catfish was...
Really? Like, I just
Hey,
don't,
we don't
bro, the
boo
low
here.
IQ of
But for
just
this one
really,
time,
like,
you may boo.
they literally still
All right,
on
back to being nice.
Hillary.
Hey, look, if the pantsuit fits,
Yo, why?
Hillary Clinton, you owe Russia an apology. And there should be an apology tour for lying to the American people and ruining 2 years of Trump's presidency and affecting elections with Russiagate, impeachment, and fake dossiers.
So is this the new
yeah,
thing?
Let's not forget the
The Russia hoax was really a Russia
the Democrats
hoax.
and the lefty media.
And so now we got to give
give
Donald Trump a second term.
Or what Jim Norton calls the $40 special.
No.
But don't expect a retraction or an apology. Hell, they're already doubling down.
This is a predictable, sad ending to an investigation that never should have taken place.
Durham is a kind of pathetic character.
He basically, to me, copied and pasted or plagiarized from the OIG report.
Durham's whole thing is predicated on, it's like a rabbit hole conspiracy.
There is nothing new here. We knew from the very beginning this was never a legitimate investigation.
And what you have with John Durham is, like, it's a big fat nothing because there is no there there.
Oh, there's there. But expect more of the same. They'll just change the straight up.
I don't. Why is he? Why, bro? Why is he even on Fox News? Does he host a show? Is he a regular commentator?
Because he kicked in the door to their safe space.
Tyrus and Gutfield panelists discuss.
He put his
I'm so confused as to why this is happening.
And then to make matters worse, he then walked into the bathroom, took a dump in their toilet.
What does his monkey ass have to contribute to this conversation? Uh-oh.
That was for you, Greg. Well, actually, Gus. He told it like it was. He exposed the swamp. He exposed the media and the corrupt politicians and the high-ranking members of the FBI. And then they conspired to get his ass out of office. Now, look, I'm not a rocket surgeon, but that looks pretty rigged.
Can we just remember that the man that they're defending here is accused of like 1,392 million felonies, was held liable for defaming and sexually assaulting somebody, led an insurrection, is responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Americans during the pandemic, is just the most bigoted of the bigots. Like, he's so bigoted that his cruelty and dispassion towards the lives of other people makes people question if he's actually bigoted. Think about that. Think about how much you have to hate other people for marginalized groups to be like, well, I don't know if he's really bigoted because he just doesn't care about anybody enough. So does it really count? Because, I mean, you have to at least have some passion in you to hate black people. Does he really hate black people? Or is he really willing to just let them be destroyed because it's convenient for him? Like, it's kind of hard to be that much of an asshole. But somehow, and y'all know I'm not trying to legitimize this story, no way, no how. I'm just more trying to point to, even when these motherfuckers are right, they're wrong. Let's just say they're right, and somehow the former president of the United States did not collude with Russia. So what? You're not supposed to do that. That's not supposed to be part of the story. That's not like a redeeming fact about a person. It's not like, honey, you didn't take out the trash this week, and yeah, well, also didn't beat your mother upside the head. So, I mean, should you really be complaining? I think I'm doing pretty goddamn good this week, wouldn't you? Right? It don't work that way. With your stupid ass. Bro, you had a good thing. They surrounded you with beautiful black women. Y'all was dancing on WWE. Fucking John Cena went and took a shit just so you could have your WrestleMania moment. And this is how you thank us? John Cena took a shit to make you, son. And this is how you thank us? This is why top line talent don't be giving up their time. This is why you shouldn't be giving up your ring time for fucking scrubs. You never know which one of them scrubs will betray the fucking nation on Fox News with the goddamn NWA heavyweight title strapped over his shoulder. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. This man needs to be canceled. He needs to be canceled. He needs to be protested. They need to blow up the social medias. They need to not go to the shows. Oh, wait, they're already not going to the shows. They need to stop watching the NWA on TV. Oh, wait, no, they're already not watching the NWA on TV. I swear to God, nobody better order the NWA wrestling pay-per-view. Oh, wait, nobody orders the NWA wrestling pay-per-views. Oh my goodness. Like anybody's supposed to care about this scrub?
To me. Hot fire. Let's welcome tonight's guests. Three's a crowd, according to his ticket sales. Comedian Joe DeVito. I love you. I was one of those three. She survived life in socialist wasteland known as ESPN. Outkick host Charlie Arnold. The only four-letter word not in his act is hair.
He ever win in WWE, bro? I don't remember. I don't think so. I don't think so. Unless he had the 24/7 title for less than 24 hours. You know how that goes.
This is the part where Greg would say something mean. Fox News contributor and New York Times bestseller, Kat Timpf. Charlie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We started this hot fire tonight. Do you think that Trump is vindicated, or is there a lot more that they need to do than this?
No, he's absolutely exonerated. Even our good friend on the left, Jake Tapper, was forced to admit it, which we all love to hear, right? It's always nice to have people admit that they've been wrong for, 8 years? There's so many outrageous aspects of what we just discovered with the Durham report being released. The first and foremost was there was absolutely no basis for it in the first place. The investigation should have never have taken place. But now that the findings have been released and Trump has in fact been exonerated, liberals are doing everything possible to try and delegitimize the findings. They're doing it in a few different ways. They have a few power plays we all know. One is, it's a conspiracy theory. They've already started rattling off those thoughts already. The other is the fact that they say because there wasn't a whole slew of indictments after the findings were released, that this actually isn't legit. But we all know the swamp protects its own. And I think there's a couple of really important things to focus on here.
ESPNification of Fox
former
News.
FBI Director James Comey wasn't even interviewed for a single moment throughout the course of the investigation. The other is the timing of the report. 6 months after the midterms.
Yeah, and the pathway of a bunch of these personalities now.
I have. I've been chatting with someone now. I'm pretty sure it's a Russian bot, but it's going well.
Good for you. Good for you. Do you think that calling this a catfish is an accurate description to the American people?
It is a bit of a weird magic trick that they've done, where they took a fake scandal and promoted that, and they took a real scandal with a real laptop from a real president's real pervert,
Hunter,
crackhead
gang,
son,
I thought
with
these
real
were
messages
jokes.
showing
I
he was
thought these
peddling
were
his family's
jokes.
influence.
We literally, I hate to say it, but doesn't it feel sometimes like you're being unfair when you talk about Republicans and you're like, these fucking crackheads, these crackpots, they won't stop talking about Hillary's emails and Hunter Biden's laptops and the woke meat. And then you put them on and they're literally like, oh my God, Russia was a hoax. Hillary owes America an apology. And this fucking bullshit. This is just absolutely insane.
They did a nice little switcheroo there. I've never understood this idea that Donald Trump was supposed to be a Russian spy. Because what do you look for in a spy?
Bro, you are a whole ass grown man talking about some politician's son doing shit freaky with pictures on a laptop. Gang, I don't have the proper means to shame these people. Yes, if I had a bigger platform, I would totally fucking weaponize it to shame these people because they ought to be ashamed of themselves. This is just ridiculous behavior to demonstrate in public. No self-awareness.
Someone who keeps a low profile.
Absolutely none.
Right? Not someone who puts his name on buildings and has TV shows and things like that. And I think there's a lot of reasons to not like Donald Trump, even if you're a supporter of his. But it's like bringing extra food to the buffet. He gave you plenty to work with. You didn't have to make stuff up, which is what they did. Hillary Clinton's still saying the 2016 election's been stolen. No one calls her an election denier.
No. Well, no one talks to her either. That's probably why. Kat, as a libertarian, this
So
has
weird.
got to just grind your gears.
It's just it's been nice to have some company in criticizing the FBI.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, finally. Everyone, I'm like, Republicans? Okay, you guys too? All right. But I'm just thinking, how will this, be talked about in history books?
Lena, I had to switch it over so everybody could see
I mean
you.
that literally. Because this whole thing started with a rumor about a P tape.
Yeah.
That's how it started.
Looks
How are
very
people
nice
going to
to
write
me.
about that? Because that's what happened. Because as soon as I heard that, I was like, come on. That's nobody. It's not like a big offense to Obama by peeing on a bed that he already stayed on.
Right.
So I feel like Trump would be better at revenge than that.
Yeah.
And I just think that it has to be at this point the most expensive rumor.
Yeah, no. Seriously though, but this is all right. So maybe ESPNification, maybe we're on to something. We'll pursue that later. It's probably a stupid idea, but seriously, that's how they're talking about this. Like we're just talking about sports teams. You know, I really want them to bench the quarterback. They don't notice that they said he threw 2 interceptions, but clearly it was the receiver's fault. I don't I don't understand. Okay, look, I'm going to just be honest. I don't take these people seriously. It's just like Christians. If you can't tell by now that you were sitting on some bullshit, it's because you don't want to be. And there's a certain, I don't know what the right word is, but they all just know they're in on it together. They're providing a safe space for each other. And then they move without that circle throughout their lives. And it's all about, you know, maintaining the team narrative and hoping that that'll lead to being elevated within the fucking cult. It's god awful to sit here and watch. And the whole aesthetic kills me. Like, why adopt the posture and the whole vibe of seriousness? Right? I mean, I hate to say it, but that's part of why I look like this when I teach my students. It's to break your association between who looks serious and who is serious. Just because somebody looks fucking ridiculous doesn't mean they're not your professor and you need to take them absolutely seriously because they grade your ass. And just because somebody looks like a reasonable adult who could sell you insurance or something does not mean that you can trust anything out of these people's mouths. And it's scary. And this kind of makes me think of what Sean was saying, because I have no intention on raising one of those hellhounds they call a human child. Like, why would I do that to myself? That just sounds like it doesn't sound fun, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. Parenting does not sound fun, okay? And also, I'm what I'm gonna politely refer to as a temporary fix for women. If you understand what I'm saying to you, women meet me, they fall deeply in love. They're just, and I'm like, no, look, I'm just a temporary fix. I'm just here to inspire you, give you a little pep talk on your way to bigger and better things, girl. You don't fuck around and have a child with somebody like that. But gang, I'm thinking, we can't let these people be the breeders. Think about the math. If we're all becoming woke and liberified and the world is overcrowded and anti-natalist and all of this shit, and so we're just like checking out of, reproduction and parenting, and then these breeders are free-falling. They don't even use protection and none of that shit. They're like, I'll have as many babies as the Holy Spirit leads me to. These motherfuckers got 12, 13, 14 kids. What are we gonna do? It's not good. It's not good. And then we're like, well, it'll be okay because the younger generation, they're becoming educated. Now they're gonna homeschool the motherfuckers. They're gonna homeschool them and they're gonna give them fucking the answers and fucking Genesis little kids curriculum we've been watching. Gang, I think I've been watching too much Christian media.
Well, and that's where the fight has to take place, to be clear, right? We're not suggesting, we enforce who can and can't have kids. I mean, I don't know.
Are we though?
What you're trying to say. I think the battle is to be fought in the schools.
All right, but wait. But what about the thought experiment? What if there was a test they had to pass?
A parenting test, some sort of qualification.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I think it makes a lot of sense if you need a license to drive a car. Isn't that his argument, right?
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, I have a feeling we'd be screening for very different things.
It's sort of something we see as a basic human right.
It's just weird because in some sense we do think they're abusive, right? And
sure.
Yeah. And
I think that's where we should focus our efforts, not on saying who can and can't have kids, but rather what the basic requirements of parenthood are. And if you can't meet those, then you don't get to be a parent, and that's already the law.
Yes. Also, what do we do about schooling?
We could extend that to better schooling, and the right to a proper education is something that I see as being entirely violated by the church. Not even the extreme churches, just the most liberal churches. They want to supplant a proper education, and that's where we need to fight the most.
I agree.
Right now, and always probably it's always a battle over the kids.
Exactly.
Over the future minds.
Exactly. All right, let's wrap this on up. Hopefully they're almost done. This is
the pre-tape
painful.
rumor, and then there was
This
the
is
investigation, and then the
painful.
investigation, and then the
This is
investigation.
painful.
Of the
But
investigation.
it all started with the rumor about a P-tape.
Yeah, and there's going to be another investigation of the investigation.
Probably, of the
much I'm sure.
investigation, yeah.
A whole slew of investigations. Nora, I'm going to leave it to you. You know what? As timing is everything. And it is kind of weird that Hunter was dead. They had him dead to rights, and there was supposedly going to be an indictment any day now. And now there is no indictment.
All right, I'm going to try to say something that I think needs to be said without saying too much. Okay? But it means something when a company makes your fucking luggage 10 pounds heavier because you got to carry around the gold everywhere you fucking go. And if your monkey ass even gives off a whiff of that right-wing fucktard bullshit around me, you should be nowhere near a title. In the world heavyweight title, you could fucking forget it. I don't care. Yes, I'm about canceling people. Yes, I'm about deplatforming people. I don't. Do I want to create an echo chamber? Kinda. It's called the fucking arena, where I want to hear fucking fans chanting and yelling shit to the top of their lungs, and I don't want them like, ooh, yeah, I'm gonna stay home because, yeah, your champ's kind of a bigoted asshole who went on Fox News and was licking Trump's booty hole. Like if you can't get heat without being pro-insurrection, maybe you need a job change. I'm just saying. Maybe wrestling isn't the business for you if you are not sufficient at evoking emotions from the crowd without fucking being a Fox News talking head actually in real life, though. I just can't. I can't co-sign this. No, this can't. No. This is what we call bad for business.
It's all back to 24/7 Trump again. Do you think that's a coincidence?
No, and I have to correct your monologue. I hate to do that, but peeing down my back has not been a $40 special since 1988.
I apologize. Is it up?
Oh yeah, it's
Wow.
yeah,
That's
inflation.
ridiculous. Inflation. You thought it was just eggs, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and Hunter Biden. I mean, like, you know, I if I was the president's son, I'd probably behave a lot more like him than I would like Chelsea Clinton or Donald Trump Jr. I relate to Hunter Biden. I would probably do the same things he did. And if I was the president, I'd probably be Trump and have sex with Stormy Daniels. I understand. I don't know why these people don't get along. They're all the same. They are all the same. I relate to all of them.
I think the biggest thing it's like, I don't think they can't share anything. Like they can't. It has to be one.
There's too high of a percentage of WWE fans that watch Fox. The number is disgustingly high, and the wrestling business often reeks of conservatism. That's what I was getting at. I don't think this is unintentional, and it reeks of desperate reach by the NWA to appeal to a certain audience.
Be one. It's like the old movie Highlander, which you never saw, but I'm hoping that you two guys saw, where there can only be one. There is no, they do the exact same thing.
A certain audience that wishes for a previous bygone era.
Have you ever been in that situation to where someone, you knew they did it, but they
And
blamed you
Wayne,
for it
I don't
anyway?
buy into
Gaslighting at its
overpopulation
finest, of
shit.
course, all
Who
the
cares?
time.
Well, that's the way I think also. That's what keeps people in power. is
Go
that People
vertical.
in power play us against each other in the two-party system. And
Like human chess.
Yeah.
What you're describing is my relationship. That's exactly what that is. Something happens, she does it, and the next day it's like, you were so mean to me. I'm like, shut up. And I'm like, oh yeah, now I'm being mean to you.
Yeah. The narcissist world we live in. All right, before we go, I've got a big announcement. My new book, Nuff Said.
Oh no, we're not plugging his book, gang. We're not. All right. Oh, I needed the golden shield for a minute. Oh, that was rough. Oh, that was rough. Gang, you're gonna have to stick with Word Wrestling Entertainment. I can't endorse the National Wrestling Alliance at this point. At this point in time, sorry. You're gonna have to continue to not watch the National Wrestling Alliance, gang. Okay, that's what this is gonna require. Okay, it's gonna be an easy boycott for most of you. All right. No more supporting the National Wrestling Alliance. Okay, we'll get back to you. We'll let you know. We'll let you know when it's okay again. I'm sure you'll all be waiting with bated breath. Oh, man. All right, gang, look, I have no idea what we're getting into tonight, but look, I'm angry. I'm black. I've been dealing with some bullshit today that's made me even angrier about being black. So when Uncle Bobby jumped into the black atheism conversation, I had to like get myself in on this conversation, and just I don't know. I want to get into it. We're gonna see what's going on. So all right. So we're gonna Autobots transform and roll out. Don't. I want to do a whole episode on the Uncle Bobbyisms. There's so many of them. But that's one of the best parts of co-hosting the show with Uncle Bobby is getting to steal the Uncle Bobbyisms. All right, and then we're gonna blow up Shuate. Notice how I unblow up Shuated just so I could say blow up Shuate. All right, and then we're gonna roll the fucking tape.
All right, welcome to another episode of Gin and Truth. I'm the captain of this ship, Robert motherfucking Reed. I got a tumble full of Hendrix, got a mind full of thoughts. Let's go.
Also, gang, serious business here. If you are not subscribed to Robert Reed, do not tell me, okay? I mean that. Don't tell me, because I'm probably going to have to tell Uncle Bobby to show up to your house and beat the shit out of you. I'm probably going to have to mute you from my channel. I'm probably going to block you in the Discord. Probably have to kick you out of Gather, because it means you're a terrible person. And you need to stop coming around I can't trust you around my friends being a horrible, terrible, evil person. So you need to go to the fucking link in the description. You need to subscribe to Gin and Truth on YouTube. And then you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm subscribed to Uncle Bobby. I love Uncle Bobby's channel, man. Oh yeah, I'm telling you, gang, you need to lie about that shit. You need to lie about that shit. You need to just act like you've been subscribed to Uncle Bobby this whole time. Because if you've been watching this motherfucker on my channel and you're not subscribed, like, I just don't say it. Don't say it.
All right, gang, let's jump into this shit. I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't going to do a show today. Wednesdays can be...
Well, you know, that's going to be your intro. I got a cartridge full of cannabis oil and a mind full of thoughts. All right, let's go. I love that.
Tired. I had a show topic for tomorrow, which it's still
Cheers,
gonna be there
gang.
tomorrow. But I was just gonna come home and chill. I was gonna sit on my deck.
Joe, don't play
watch
with
the
me.
boys. But you guys know how it works in Uncle Bobby land. Uncle Bobby saw some shit, so now Uncle Bobby has to rant about some shit. Now, for
And that's why we're here. Cousin Jay saw some Uncle Bobby shit, and so now Cousin Jay has to rant about some Uncle Bobby shit.
Newcomers, if you aren't aware how I do this, I don't. I just, when I get in my car, plug in my phone, and it's on YouTube, and my YouTube is on autoplay. Whatever the fuck comes up is whatever the fuck it is I listen to. It's kind of fun that way. 9 times out of 10, it's like, didn't see that one coming. Then a voice hit my ears, and it's like, oh, I recognize that. It's fuckface John McCrae. From What Do You Mean? Let's Go. Ooh, are you excited? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then another brother kicked in, and I didn't recognize his voice. But then they started talking about the problem with black atheism. Now, gang, I don't have a lot of steam in me, so we're just going to go right ahead and Autobots transform. Everyone knows the next step is to roll out.
Roll out, yep.
So what do you guys see? Let's go back to StreamYard. Okay, you see
And
these
then we
two
gotta blow
fuck
up
faces
Chewie.
right here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah.
got to talk about this game.
I already know the one on the
black
left is a
atheism.
goddamn problem.
I really have no idea what the fuck's getting ready to come out of their mouth.
Oh,
But
no.
I have this sneaking suspicion I am not going to like it.
I
So
feel
let's
like
go ahead
we're
and
all
roll
in
up,
for a
Chewie.
coon surprise, gang.
Gang, let's find out about the problems with black atheism. You guys ready? Let's roll the tape.
I've noticed a lot lately that you have these new communities of black atheists.
Oh, Lord.
And there's these communities of black people that are atheists, and they're starting to...
First off, stop the tape, pause the tape. We might have to end the tape. Where?
Hook us up.
Yeah, please. We need to go to the description of this video and ask for specifics.
Let's get these collabs.
What the fuck are you talking about?
And these groups that are created for them. And I'm sitting here with Adam Coleman from True ID, and we're just going to talk about that a little bit real quick. So, Adam, in your estimation, where do you think this kind of new wave of black atheism has come from?
Pause the tape. Before he opens up his mouth, let me answer that. Because I'm a black atheist. People are waking up, gang. And it's not just black atheists, it's white atheists. It's not just white atheists, it's Mexican atheists. Not just Mexican atheists, people are waking up. You cannot lie to people the way that you lied to us Gen Xers. Right? You keep telling a teenager today that one time that someone got pregnant with no dick, they're going to get on Pornhub just to prove you wrong. So this whole new wave of black, I think it's kind of a new wave of us all. Because again, people are waking up. The internet will one day kill religion. Everything that we need answers for will be at our fingertips. But this is going to be sitting on some bullshit. Roll the tape.
All right, so before we get into this, I wanna lend support for this. And first off, I really do believe that people who want to be boldly anti-racist need to be boldly anti-theist. Hashtag Black people deserve the truth. And part of the way I see this is maybe, I doubt it, but maybe I can be made to believe that at the top of the hierarchy, with maybe a different qualitative situation with regard to disposable income and recreational time and all of this, that a little dabbling in the ethereal, a little bit of supernatural play from time to time, knock yourself out if you don't feel like going to Disney World. But when you are insisting that marginalized people who have very little to begin with should continue to rely on hocus pocus rather than be pushed into the forefront of the STEM revolution that's needed to really transform our socioeconomic situation, you are continuing to enable our oppression. Now, that's a huge part of the reason I'm a black atheist. It has nothing to do with why I'm an atheist. but it does have a lot to do with why I think atheism is especially important as a black person. I also believe in, sorry for those of you who've heard me say this before, but the way I perceived the meta-narrative of being a black American, growing up a black child as I did, was the journey from slave to free. Like, that's what being black means. It means your ancestors were brought here as slaves. And you are not a slave, although you are still subject every day to the racism that is the legacy of their enslavement. So these notions of progress, justice, freedom, equity, they're not fucking games in the narrative of black Americans. They're the real journey that people had to fight and die for, right? And we're still fighting and dying to get people to be aware of our subjugation, largely as a result of our historic enslavement, or tied into same, right? And Christianity, which is, for at least black Americans, the religion of our enslavers, that was often used to justify and as an instrument of our continued enslavement, inherently at its core and in its mission is the desire to be a slave, to have a master, to have a lord, to be provisioned for by someone in something greater than you. And that message at its core is anti-black to me. I speak for nobody other than myself, but I just wanted to put my 2 cents in there. And I'm gonna close my window real quick and let this roll. But go ahead, Lena. Go ahead.
And it's just anti-freedom more broadly, right? To speak to all races,
100%.
all peoples.
Yes.
It's just anti everything that we're fighting for, right? The egalitarian principles of liberty, life, and the pursuit of happiness, of personal freedom. It's just, as a socialist, I hear that and I just
and it is definitely all people, for sure. Yeah. And matter of fact, I think that's the higher consciousness, right? That's the thing we've all known, right? Is but that's humanism, right? That's yeah. So I feel like it's definitely tied to humanism, and that's what makes us progressives. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's roll this tape. Thanks, Lena.
Well, yeah, I think you said it just right. It's a new wave, and I think that, to be fair to my black atheist friends out there, it's not to say that there's never been black atheists out there, although they've been a super small minority of the African American community. But you can look to people like James Baldwin from
Frederick
back in the
Douglass,
day, who's a writer coming out of the Harlem Renaissance, is very popular during during the 60s in terms of when he was publishing his work. He was an outright atheist, and so it's not to say they haven't been around. But like you said, I mean, there is this new wave, and I think it has a lot to do
hold on.
Let's see the fact that, on the one hand, I say all the time, man, you really can't deal with the problem of evil within the context of the African American experience, without in some way butting up against racism, oppression.
Pause the tape. Before they go any further, gang, I cannot tell you the number of time, and I think I speak for a lot of us atheists that just so happen to be black. I have gotten more than one occasion when people found out that I'm an atheist, the first response was, "But you're black." How did you find this out?
Facts.
Shut the fuck up.
Seriously, though.
I think there's still that stereotype in people's head. That's why I think it just smacks people when they find out that there's a black person that's an atheist. Because I think in people's mind, and it's partially true, a lot of it is true, when they think of a black person and they think about a black person in Christianity, when they think about white people, they go, ominous, ominous, oh. When you think of the black church, it's lively. There's that lady with the tambourine. You know, there's always Sister Johnson halfway through who gets the Holy Ghost and she just runs left.
The drummer is
All that
wrecking
stuff,
shit.
right? The preacher who's sweating even though the AC's on. He always got the. You guys know what gets in your head, and so yeah, I guess it does hit a little bit harder for other people when they find out there's a black person that does not fit that stereotype of a black Christian, right? So I guess there's that. But let's see what this fuckface has to say. Roll the tape.
And, you know, addressing those kinds of suffering. And unfortunately, I think in many ways, the church hasn't spent a lot of time, cultivating responses to the problem of evil that are relevant directly to the kinds of sufferings that people.
Pause the tape.
Pause the tape. Pause the tape. All right, look, before they jump on this bandwagon, because I'm going to let this go down the problem of evil if y'all want to do that. But we should first touch on what Uncle Bobby said about the internet and technology. The ask from religion these days is nothing short of refusing to live in the modern world. I'm sorry. And I know there's a certain polite civility, but I just don't give a fuck anymore. These religions aren't true. And we know that. And it's not like I'm not saying this in a way that I would want a religious person to feel attacked. I would want a religious person to literally stop and think about what you're asking of other people around you, right? You have a book. It says God created the world in 6 days. We know that didn't happen. You can't grow a tomato plant in 6 days, okay? And we also can explain, oh my God, so much of the origin and formation of our universe and planet that it is unreasonable to expect that a child today will grow up to believe it's possible that a God made that happen. Without serious manipulation and indoctrination and sheltering and nothing short of abuse can ensure that a reasonable child grows up to believe any of the modern religions. And I mean that about anything that's bullshit, y'all. I'm talking about the spirituality, I'm talking about the woo-woo, like all of it. All of it. If it's not empirically based, then you're nothing. You're nothing, right? I'm not throwing every practice under the bus, right? But a lot of us know that we're on that beneficial tip. People know, hey, I really benefit from meditation, right? Because, and they could go on and list the very real benefits. Other people clear their head, they ride a bike. Other people do different things, right? But the idea of just accepting doctrine and myths and stories and all of that, it's an unreasonable ask. And here's something else that I would really want to implore upon religious people, especially people of color. You can't keep insisting that you are the honest people in the room. That's the feeling that really is difficult for my family. That's where the tension is. That's where the disconnect is. They have, because of their religion, they've always been able to assume they're the good moral people in the room. They've also always been able to assume they're honest. And then everybody operates under that framework. Thoroughly unreasonable ask, because
but Christianity has the built-in defense mechanism, right? Because they accept their sinful nature, so they would immediately reject that and say, no, I'm well aware of my shortcomings and I'm not always honest and yada yada yada, not realizing the framing, the sort of the narcissism is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's not apparent from within, and I want to be empathetic to that fact.
Yeah,
not that it excuses the behavior.
Sure.
I mean, I think a lot of them are just genuinely awful people. They're just, that just is what it is.
Yeah, I that's kind of where I'm getting at with it. To me, it reflects a genuine character flaw. A genuine character flaw. But yeah, I just wanted to speak to what Uncle Bobby said, because it really bothers me, right? It bothers me that you're asking that of people, and that you're disappointed with them. Like, you're disappointed with them for if they won't accept that a virgin got pregnant. You're disappointed if they won't accept that somebody died for their sins and all of this shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy talk. It's crazy talk. It's kind of like I forget who was saying this on that podcast we were watching on Christian propaganda, where the guy was saying, if you just read the lyrics to worship songs, like, out of the context of them being sing, they would just clearly be some cultish bullshit.
Yeah, and that was all of the songs that they sang at my local church just recently that I visited, that we did the members content on. All the lyrics from there were just exactly that same cultish vibe that just gets baked into the positive experience, and it gets totally overlooked. Just not a lot of thinking going on, right? A lot of emotion, a lot of feels, not a lot of critical thinking.
Wayne
Let's hear what Uncle Bobby has to say.
Yeah, Wayne said shit has to happen firsthand to conservatives. Everything they respect happened in the hero's journey parable. Their brains are conditioned that way.
Want to know why? Because there's nothing that you can fucking say. We failed our test in the Garden of Eden. God gave us free will because he wants us to be free creatures to love him freely. You don't want to be a moist robot. It's the same shit, right? Your Christianity does not address the problem of evil. Gang, evil shit happens, period, end the fucking story. The overwhelming majority of us, we're somewhere in between, not all the way fucked up and pretty damn good. Then there's the outliers over there, like the Hitlers, like the Idi Amins, like all those fuck faces, right? So again, the church hasn't addressed the problem because you can't. Because your timeless, spaceless, immaterial, disembodied fuckface doesn't exist. So you guys want to put an answer to a real world issue and your question, the question of evil, the problem of evil. Your solution is, well, God hasn't given us, we don't understand the mind of God. Shut the fuck up. There's nothing you can say. I think they said his name was Adam. Adam, there's nothing that you can say, because your solution is sitting on some bullshit. Snakes don't talk. Virgins don't get pregnant. Grow the fuck up. Roll the tape.
People in the Black atheist community are most concerned about. And so now what you have is this community, like you said, of atheists who have all the same types of objections to Christianity that a Richard Dawkins would or something.
But pause the tape. These objections are not color specific. We are atheists, whether you were white, black, Filipino, South American. We are atheists because, again, prove to me that your God exists. Did you know that a pizza can take a nap? Right? Dude, seriously, virgins don't get pregnant. Now, I'm going to answer your question, but what do you mean by that? What do you mean by a virgin? I mean, what do you mean by pregnant? What do you mean? You guys say the same shit.
Conservatives need to grow up.
And whether you're white, black, or anything the fuck else.
Growing up is part of growing up.
Transgendered, gay, straight, bisexual, it doesn't matter. When you guys put your evidence on the table, it does not lead to a fucking proof. You know, I don't believe in your God. Well, do you believe that? All you guys got are word games. That is why black people don't believe in some Christians going to see this and they're going to completely edit the dog shit out of it. But again, make sure you take some of that with you. Black people don't believe in your God for the exact same reason our white family members don't believe in your God. Your evidence does not lead to a motherfucking proof. Roll the tape.
Something like that. But then there's this extra layering of concerns that are really cultivated from these types of cultural sufferings, if you will. That I think really adds a flavor, kind of a black flavor, to the general type of atheism that we encounter. But then there's also a different type of black atheism as well that's more idiosyncratic, that has to do with not necessarily rejecting God in general, but more so rejecting the God of the Abrahamic faith. And so that's an even smaller subset, but you have that idiosyncratic use of the term black atheism. So if you run into him, you might want to ask questions.
What? Okay, one, he better not say what I think he's getting ready to say, but is he breaking down the subsets of eight? I don't think you're qualified to do that. Now, gang, it sounds like he was winding something up. I hope he's not going to say what I think he's getting ready to say. Roll the tape.
Use of the term black atheism. So if you run into him, you might want to ask questions, kind of a Greg Kokel kind of way. What do you mean?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
This fuck face is quoting fuck face. I don't even care what your fucking name is now. If you are looking up to fuck face Greg Kokel as any kind of authority, you are a lying sack of shit. And look at his face right here. Look at this fucking face. You're smiling at that. Okay, let's say I bring up, okay, you know what? The Christian God loves us so much. And by us, I'm talking about this brother right here, and the brother that's on the mic. Your God loves us so much. He saw us on the bottom of those slave ships. Our women raped right in front of us. If someone was pregnant and they had a baby, there's a good chance that baby, take that motherfucker, chunk his monkey ass overboard like a bucket of human waste. If your God loves us so much, why the fuck did he allow that to happen? I'm going to answer your question. But what do you mean by that? Well, what do you mean by suffering? I mean, if there is no God, what's wrong with raping a nigger? What's wrong with raping a slave right in front of her husband? What do you mean by that? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? If there is no God, what's wrong with just chunking a human being overboard? You want to watch a 13-year-old nigger African drown? If that's how you have a discussion with other black people, turn your black card in at the fucking front.
Yes.
These two coons,
yes.
If that's where they're going with this, these two coons are not allowed in the fucking cookout.
And I just want to say, as the black guy who went to all white schools, I don't give a fuck. I'm with it. I am with calling people coons. I am with pulling people's black cards, and I am definitely with telling these coons your black card is invalid and expired, and you're not allowed to the fucking cookout. That's what's cool. And you know what? Now stand your monkey ass over there, you fucked up ass coon, and let us invite all the white fam, all our non-black fam, yeah, all y'all cool ass motherfuckers that are down as fucking, you're progressive and the coolest shit. Oh yeah, don't forget to hit this blunt on the way in. Yeah, liquor's over that way. Stay your coon ass out my fuck. I swear to God, you come anywhere near my fucking barbecue, I am calling the cops on your coon ass. Deal with that, huh? What? Sorry. I just got real deep into the role play there. But look, it's like that. It's just like that. And if people don't like it, too bad.
I think it's so difficult for people because of how connected the image of the civil rights movement is with the church, right? And the work that Martin Luther King Jr. did, working within the Baptist church. It's like there's a lot there that we need to address as far as,
yes,
having people understand the right framing on this. And there's also gonna be the identity politics challenge, right?
Sure.
And
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. We're talking about systemic racism, right? We're talking about a system that is designed to oppress, above all else, Black people. And that's still the case today in America. So I think it's entirely appropriate to use this joking rhetoric. I mean, I don't even know what it would mean to pull someone's black card, right? There is not going to be a cookout, but I get the sentiment, and I think it's an important aspect of politics is to recognize where your allyship is and who isn't in the club, so to speak.
So this isn't
not that all. I mean, again, most Black people in America are Christians, so it's a struggle, and we need to be receiving members and getting more deconstruction happening within the Black communities.
Right. Yeah.
But we can't be tolerating these guys.
Yeah, that's a point. That's a good point. So
I
Go
gotta jump in, being
Go ahead,
a
Steph.
lady of a certain age. King had a huge problem with the moderate Black clergy as well. There were lots of Black pastors saying that Martin and the
organization, the
Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and all of that was an actual danger to Black people's safety. A lot of there was tremendous pushback against the radical notion that Black people shouldn't just do the shuck and jive and go along and wait for a more convenient time within the church. The church is very conservative. Martin was a radical. He was a radical.
Yeah.
And he moved the organization he worked within at a very young age. Remember, King was in his 20s in the 50s.
Right.
And when the whole movement, he was in his early 30s in DC in 1963. He was the young radical guy who was going to get you all killed. When in fact,
and he
what
did
he was
get killed.
doing, he did at a very young age as well. I mean, he was 42, I think, when he was assassinated, or maybe not even that.
Wow.
I mean, the pressure against him did not just come from the Bull Connors,
Right.
from the Sheriff Clarks. It came from within the Black community too.
And does that not speak perfectly to the message that we're getting at, which is that the problem is Christianity, that the entirety of the church is built upon a slave mentality and a subservience to the status quo?
Well, I certainly think there are elements within Christian belief. I mean, if you look at the biblical passages regarding slavery and all that stuff, well, it's not like the institution is outlawed by any means. In fact, it's enshrined in law.
Right.
That's not the problem. The problem is it's the problem of liberation theology as opposed to the theology that would have people accept their lot in life. It's like the church was used to justify feudalism, and the church is used to justify capitalism, and the church is used to
when the end times are coming,
because the church itself is an institution and it has institutional any institution of long standing is going to build up self-protections, and the people within those institutions, because we live in a society in which some of these institutions are dominant, are going to react poorly to the people within those institutions to say, hey, look, you're a heretic. Basically, you're being a heretic here.
Right.
But sometimes heresy is really needed.
Absolutely.
I mean, the white slave owning dickwads that wrote the Declaration of Independence we're heretics and rebels against the British crown. So it's like, you know, it's a question of questioning authority, not only questioning authority, but actually fighting authority. But you can't do that. You can't fight authority outside of the authority, outside of your growing up within the authority, right? I mean, you take the lessons from the authority, and you do a jujitsu, and you turn it around, and that's what King was doing with the faith.
I think he made a mistake in my estimation by not ensuring that his message was properly secularized. Although I think he tried, and I think he was probably just limited in terms of how it would be received, especially with him actually being an evangelical minister.
He was coming out of a tradition of liberation, out of the social gospel tradition of his church, and he was using the church as a power base, as a powerful platform to make the case for social justice.
Yeah, they use the Exodus story and that sort of Christ has come to save us and liberate us. But I mean, so I don't see how he could have been a secular figure, I think is what we're getting.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is there's historical contingency to all this, and I think we're dealing with the problems, right? So I see it just as incredibly problematic that the center of social and cultural capital in Black communities is the church. And I'll try to, the way I simplify it, especially if you're listening, you need a sound bite, it's you can respect the history, the role of the church in the history of Black people, but that won't make it true. And that's the bigger problem, right? Is I really do get that was the I wrote papers on that was the institution, and in many cases the only institution where Black people had their own institution, that they could participate and they could be upwardly mobile, they could get promoted, they could get prestige and all of this type of stuff. But we can't.
And that's the fundamental split between King and folks like Kwame Ture, right? Stokely Carmichael. I mean, that's where that split came. It's like all of a sudden, it's like we need to. That's where the Panthers came from. We don't need the church. We can build from within our own communities the institutions that will be elements of our own freedom that are not dependent on white history and on white institutions.
And I lean that way a lot more now, especially because what Black people are, I think, not even having conversations about is the grift, right? At least in the atheist community, people are sitting around talking about, this pastor's a grifter and that pastor's a grifter, and look at all these mega churches and all of this stuff. And Black people still are treating the Chidi Jakes and Creflo Dollars like they're MLK somehow, and like they're not willing to, like that's what my, like, you know what I'm saying, like that's what my mother's not getting. Like she takes an attack on Christianity like a personal thing and doesn't realize, no, I'm trying to say your father's kind of a snake oil salesman, right? Like that's the realization. We haven't come to grips with the falsity of it, and
and that's the
troubling.
Difficulty of the historical reality is that your family was supported on that money, right? Like I don't know, for a lot of Black people in this country, the options are, you can throw a basketball, or you can deal drugs, or you can be the son of a pastor, and that's
right.
That's sometimes the only options, or get lucky with schooling. But I mean,
Yeah, and that's the thing that sucks too, because even that narrative, right? Like I don't even, because like I don't even I'm in one of those families where even with the elevation of the church has cost my family money. It's always because they've always tithed more, and even now my grandfathers they spend all their retirement paying the church's bills. They never make money from the church. They made their money from their careers. But they don't even celebrate their careers. My grandmother retired from the fucking police department. My grandfather's a longshoreman. And then they worked like extra jobs. Like they have really good jobs, right? And then they worked extra jobs. But they give all the glory to God instead of being like, y'all were some hard ass working people, right? Y'all scrubbed the floors of banks to pay for the house you raised my mother. You know what I'm saying? Like they just don't like it's crazy. It's just weird. It's a very weird gap to try to bridge.
Yeah, and there's not really comparisons to people like who's the demons in the plane guy, right? The Kenneth Copeland and all these, you know. I mean, I don't know of millionaire African American televangelists. Maybe there are one or two of them.
Wayne, atheism should become a protected class like religious folks. I do wonder what type of change that would bring about. I also think religion needs to be really, really moved against with public life. I don't think people should be the way the religious people like in office. The way I see it, I actually find that stuff very offensive. But all right, let's throw some tape. Thanks, gang.
I have a question.
Oh, hey, Karen, go ahead.
Does that whole atheism thing becoming like a religion come with tax cuts?
It'd be
we
nice.
can each be a temple of our own.
Yo, that would be something that would be interesting to what Wayne is saying. If they did some shit like saying, well, like you get a tax break because the churches are tax free, so you get a tax break for being atheist, or some shit like that. That would hurt the numbers, man. At least tax the churches, or there's another weird one, gang, which is provide tax funding to the churches. And I know that sounds crazy, but I would almost take that, like tax the churches and then give them some tax money back. But because the reason this happened in Europe was basically they did this shit and you only get the funding if you're like on the rolls or you're represented at a church. So basically when people become aware of it, they become not members of the church because they don't want the church to get money for them. I don't actually support giving the churches money, but I just thought it was funny when that story broke about how they actually got people to leave churches because they were pissed about them getting money for them. And I was like, I'm desperate at this point.
That is a diseased. I hope that's not where he's going with this. If you're gonna fix your fucking mouth as a black person to pull the what do you mean by that? If someone says that raping our black sisters was bad, fuck. Do you guys know what they did to us, black men, here in the States before they lynched us? It was not uncommon to rape the men. And by rape, I mean broomstick handles, axe handles. They would stick it up our rectums before they hung us. We were alive when it happened. So if you're going to sit here and say, brother, come on now, stop playing games. Your God is so powerful. He can talk a world into existence in 6 days. But for me personally, I told y'all, the Ku Klux Klan literally murdered my grandfather. Never got a chance to meet him. Murdered that man because the black people that God didn't protect, the Klan murdered them, lynched them. My grandfather thought it was a great idea to cut those lynched black people down and give them a proper burial. By the way, he took his 10-year-old son with him, my dad. Where was your God for all that? I'm going to answer your question, but what do you mean by... Gang, you're looking at two coons right there. Not an every one of those faces has got shoes on because, well, they got the tops of the shoes, but they tap dance so goddamn hard for the white God that they don't have it. Gang, they just roll this fucked up ass tape. Just roll the tape. I'm done with these two.
So that you can really grasp where it is they're coming from it before you kind of formulate a response.
But pause the tape. If I have to explain to anyone, much less a fucking fellow black man, that it's fucked up that my grandfather was murdered, and by my grandfather, I mean all of our grandfathers, all of our grandmothers, all of our great-grandmothers, the people who were here before I was that have my same blood. Again, listen to what he said. Go fuck yours. Rewind this bullshit.
No, that makes sense. That's
No,
good.
it just shut the fuck up.
Before you kind of formulate they're coming from it, before you
listen to this.
You might want to ask questions kind of in Greg Coco kind of way. What do you mean? You know what I mean? So that you can really grasp where it is they're coming from it before you kind of formulate a response.
No, that makes sense. That's good.
Pause the tape. Let me tell you something. If I have to explain, you hear what he says so you know where they're coming from. If I have to explain to a fellow black man what the fuck it is I'm feeling, I'm going to quote noted historian and philosopher Joe Biden, then you ain't black. If you're going to take our experiences, brother, and play these fucked up ass Greg Coco word games, man, fuck you and
What do you mean by
you.
that?
Roll this fucked up ass tape. These two sellouts.
So what's just kind of like one kind of thing that you would say, kind of responses kind of catered towards specifically the atheism in the black culture, or an atheist in the black culture?
Sure. Well, one of the main concerns is generally going to have to do with oppression, that African Americans have experienced in the past or even in the present and so forth. And they're going to look to things like the participation of professing Christians in the transatlantic slave trade, antebellum South, and so forth.
Yes,
with
of
slavery.
course. Yes, yep, there you go.
You're looking at two diseased minds right here. I just belch. Hashtag I'm professional. These two fucking coons. First and foremost, he just dropped, whether you guys realize it or not, I hate it when they say professing. Again, anytime an atheist fucks up, that is atheism. He said professing Christians.
Yeah.
Giving them an out. No real Christian would have participated in
the
slave
Chinos.
trade.
Christian in name only.
Make sure you don't read the Bible there, fuck nuts.
The only thing to say about how our people were treated is that we were treated poorly. Period. End of story. Keep your fucking God out of it. Keep what do you mean by that out of it. If there is no God, what's wrong with? These two have officially earned the rank of coon. Let's see if they can get to super coon before the end of this video. Roll the tape.
And they're going to kind of use those as kind of this, they've got a cadre of assault, so to speak, related to these various types of moral issues, particularly within African-American history. So with that being said, all these moral claims, against Christianity and all these other concerns that they have, in some way or the other is going to be rooted in an assumption that humans have value. Now I would argue that both morality and human value can't be robustly accounted for.
They're all presuppositionalists.
Pause the tape. These two.
Wait, is the dude on the left supposed to be a Christian? The dude on the right supposed to be a Christian too, or atheist?
They're both Christians.
They're both Christians. Okay.
Yeah, the one guy is the famous counter apologist. He's got all the
him
the
on the left. He's an apologist.
Yeah.
But is this one of his other? This a Christian dude over here?
Clearly is. Yeah.
All right.
Definitely, yeah.
I thought he was going to sit down with his atheist buddy. Yeah, nah, this is.
You thought they would actually have an atheist on to talk about atheism?
Yeah.
You thought that they would actually.
Yeah.
Have an
I was here
panel?
for it. God damn it.
That was a wrong assumption of me.
Yeah, I did.
Giving them way too much credit.
Yeah, way too much credit.
They are taking the oppression of our people, and they've officially put.
Oh, yeah. So let me talk about this for a little bit, because this is a problem. Like, and again, gang, I mentioned writing about this in college, like, because I mean to say this is a thing I took seriously, right? And I worked at a church, you know, and as a community organizer, right? So I used my position in the church to be a more effective community organizer. And there's no doubt that, you know, that, hey, that was one of the places that had that could create a role for somebody who wanted to do that type of work, right? Like, I'm not gonna say don't have a PTO because, you know, somebody from the church, you know, is organizing it or something like that. But it's just about what should our future look like. And Lena, you brought up a point that I wanted to touch on because it's really important. Like, Black people really do use the Bible to explain our liberation, and it very much is the adopting the Exodus story to our own thing. And the Black church that has it right, and that would be all of them, is almost treats the Bible like it was written about them. And when I finally got clear of it, I realized it doesn't make you God's people or God's chosen people because you were slaves and now you're, to be honest, barely not slaves. It would have made you God's chosen people and never be slaves to begin with. But they don't see that.
I mean, that's why I'm saying when I say Christianity is the religion of slaves, the entirety of the narrative is explaining away why are we in this situation to begin with, right? And
Right.
you can't blame God, so he usually tends to be blaming ourselves for our faults and our sins against God, right? And so God has to punish us.
Right.
That's the entire Exodus story, is like, oh, let's, you know, if we just pray hard enough, and, you know, God will come and save us. And as long as we, you know, do everything he says, then we'll be good to go. But we messed up, and so now he's gonna make us wander around for 40 years
And I hate
or whatever.
Hey, Beck, I hate to say it too, but that's all. It buys into the racist narrative that to this day justifies slavery. It's almost like we tell ourselves being slaves was fucked up, but if you think about it, we were kind of savages out in Africa, just doing our own savage shit. And then the white man, he may have enslaved us. It was a little bit rough breaking the shit, but we are good Christians now. And wouldn't you know it, once we became good Christians, the rest of the good Christians came and freed us, and now they're going to give us a seat at democracy.
There were cities
entirely
and civilizations all over.
That's entirely the
What the fuck?
colonialist mentality.
Yeah.
Thing. It's grim.
Yeah, and that's history they should be teaching, and they don't.
But it's fucked up when you've internalized it, right? And that's what that
But when you
false
got a
history
school backing up
does.
the Bible, it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's just
Because it
that's
wasn't
rough.
just savage living. There were cities, there was civilizations, there was life, and it was thriving. They had trade.
Yeah, slave trades.
It wasn't like they're coming in and, you know, getting all these barbarians out of there and giving them something. No, they had lives.
Yeah.
They had
yeah.
good lives. They had their own wars, their own gods, their own things going.
Yeah,
And that
absolutely.
gets left out of our education.
Yep.
All
Yep.
the
And it
culture that
shouldn't
got
be.
destroyed during the Crusades, during just the entire historical period, you know.
Trash. All right, gang, let's roll some tape.
Into the Christian word game blender. Please go fuck yourself, both of you. Rewind this fucked up ass tape.
Rooted in an assumption humans have value. You know, now I would argue that both morality and human value can't be robustly accounted
Oh yeah, I see
for
his cross
on
now.
an atheistic paradigm. And so I think
Pause the tape. Not only is this fucker a coon, he's fucking stupid. Fucking stupid. On an atheistic paradigm. Again, you don't listen for shit and you don't listen for shit. There's not a single brain cell that works between the two of you. What just came out of my booty hole has got more soul than both of these coons put together times fucking 10. Give me a fucking break. You got two black dudes over here shucking and jiving and playing word games on the topic of fucking slavery. No, it can't be robustly justified. Shut the fuck up. Why do I have to robustly justify my anger that the fucking Ku Klux Klan, that your God couldn't stop? Because apparently the free will of the Klansmen that beat my grandfather to fucking death, their free will was more important than my fucking grandfather staying alive. Please go fuck yourself. You got two fucking black. Okay, this is no different than when fuckface Frank Turek said, "What do you mean by white?" When a brother asked, "Is Christianity the white man's religion?"
You got to remember that the Klan marched under the cross, and so did King.
Right.
So
right.
it's, you know, it's just.
It's never been the answer.
It's not. God is not the answer. God's the problem, really.
Absolutely.
It's like you're just answering to some higher power that can't even be clear enough to make a distinction between somebody who's fighting for social justice and somebody who wants to literally enslave people. Come on.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, if fucking Yahweh would come down and say, "Hey, don't do that shit," like every opportunity to say, "No, slavery is a bad thing." You know, don't do that. It's ugly. It's not pleasing. It's not a pleasing aroma to me when you burn crosses on your lawn or on people's lawns and shit. But you know, it's like that's I don't like that. You know, cut the shit. Does he do it? No. Why? Because he's not real. It's something you fucking made up, you dumb shits. Jesus.
And that's what it's really about. It's about growing up, right? In order to deal with racism, people need to grow up. In order to deal with Christianity, people need to grow up. It's just, people just need to start taking other people seriously. This whole not of this earth, focused on the afterlife, it's racist. It's all racist.
100%.
You got Amos over here, you got Andy over there. So what's the problem, Andy?
Hilarious.
Why must I robustly justify my anger that my grandfather was murdered? Again, when I say my grandfather, his great-grandfather, his great-grandfather, these two fuckers are more than likely descendants of slaves, gang. And when I say descendants, I'm not talking all that long ago. You got two black dudes over here playing a game with slavery. Not only am I not going to robustly justify my anger to a white dude, I'm sure as fuck not going to do it with a fellow black man. This is some next level cooning. These two fuckers right here, right now, they are making Brandon Tatum look like fucking the genes of MLK and the genes of Malcolm X were fucking spliced. Roll the tape.
That's a great way to approach the black atheist and say, "Hey, look, I agree with you that slavery was messed up. You know, I agree with you that, you know, it's oppression of any people, you know, is wrong. However, I'm saying that theism gives me a better account as to why that is the case, as opposed."
Pause the tape. And you know what? Your theism did not keep my grandfather from being murdered. It didn't. Your ability to say that you can more robustly justify your morality stance so that slavery didn't stop the slave trade. It's exactly what I told Fuckface Chris. That is exactly what, I can't remember her name, so let's just call her Paula. That back and forth that I reviewed when Fuckface Jeff Durbin was in Ireland. And Paula was like, but who gives a shit? She was like, well, I completely refuted atheism. I mean, you know, I have a, it's like, and she literally said, who gives a shit? Because the atrocity still happened. But I have a foundation to say that it was wrong. And she was like, who gives a shit? It still happened. Yep. This coon right here, he's satisfied sitting there. Again, with the headdress of our people. But you have sold us the fuck out. The only thing, especially a fellow black man can say about the slave trade is that the slave trade was fucked up. I don't care if you can more robustly justify. I don't give a fuck. It didn't stop people. Here's the thing, though, fuck nuts. You would have been a buck. You would have been a buck.
Exactly.
Enough would have been a buck. You guys know what a buck is?
$1.
That is a big black dude. That means if this is the house, we would have been way the fuck over there. They would have worked us to fucking death.
Like actual workhorse.
Me to death was more. Shut the fuck up. They would have taken your woman. They would have taken your woman. They would have taken my woman. And they would have raped our woman right there the fuck in front of us.
And then auctioned off the children.
But you want to sit here, but, well, can you robustly justify? If I have to robustly justify my anger to two black dudes, again, Joe Biden said it best.
See, gang, y'all already know me. When you're dealing with coons like this, see, Uncle Bobby wants to come in and do the hand-to-hand, and I probably... Y'all know me. I'm trying to stay pretty. So, you know, when you're trying to stay pretty, what you do is you send in Uncle Bobby and he's just smashing people and ninja chopping people and choking people out and tossing people around the room. And then I come in with the steel chair and I'm just like, God damn it. I was really prepared to use the steel chair today. You know what I'm saying? Because I would be going right upside these fools' heads with the steel chair. Because it just, I just don't, you know... Hell, maybe you knock some sense into him.
Black. Your addiction to being right makes you dehumanize what our people went through. Holy shit. Again, just like fuckface Jeff Durbin, a self-defense teacher. Again, gang, I told you that means he sits down and he listens to the exact same stories that I listen to. For me, those stories have been transformative. They literally have changed the way it is I see and interact with the world. Jeff Durbin heard those exact same stories and uses those stories as an ace in the hole.
It's not too bad, Lena.
I just own the atheist epic style. He's so addicted to being right that he will take this lady's story, put it on the table, and say, if there is no God, what's wrong with that? I take that story and I say, I got it. Not only do I got that story, I got you. And I've given my number to students, morning, noon, or night. You call me. I don't sleep anyway. I'll come and get you. And I have. I don't need to justify my position. I'm not that addicted to winning a debate. I'm not addicted to winning a debate at all. I don't care to debate. These two black dudes right here are so addicted to being right, to being the last person standing in a debate, that they're going to sit there and take something that, whether they realize it or not, they've got direct ancestry to. Talk to their, what is this fucker? Mid-30s? Dude, you're not that old. I've got cousins in their mid-30s, and they've heard stories that have broke them into tears just like I have. I've got them by 15 years. So addicted to being correct, the last person standing, that these two idiots took the experiences of our people, and instead of putting them right here in their heart, say, I'm going to protect these stories. They put these stories on the table and quite literally bust it out. If there is no God, what's wrong with this? I've got a robust moral objection to the slave trade. They're taking the experiences of our people and they're wiping their ass with it. Roll the tape. This is terrible, gang.
To atheism. So sometimes what I'll do is I have what's called I call the modified version of the moral argument, where I say, well, if God doesn't exist, then objective moral values and duties don't exist. And then I kind of rather, shape the second premise to not just kind of talk about general moral values and duties, but something specific like chattel slavery. I want, we agree that chattel slavery is wrong. Right. Well, if we agree on that, then, let's get to the third premise then. Therefore, God exists. Now, some people may not, want to jump to it straight that quick.
He did. He just went to the let's take something like slavery. It is pretty fucking painful to hear.
Why do people not find anything wrong with it if there is no God?
Yeah, but the problem with this is the cooning. This is when you go, because what these people have done is they go to
Knock the stool out from under it.
They go
what
white.
They're trying to do.
They go to white apologists, and now they are trying to bring white apologetics into the black community. Like we don't need Greg Kokel and William Lane Craig, right? Because all of those, and I don't mean this. Let me say when I say white apologies, I mean this is not part of the black experience. For the most part, right? We don't sit around and talk about philosophy and moral arguments and this is all like that whole pseudo-intellectual fake-ass debate bullshit. And the last thing we need is that predatory fucking industry getting wrapped in, a fucking hood pass because now hip young brothers are going to be out spewing this bullshit, which is what my man on the left's entire existence is, by the way. So I guess that's what we're in for.
Pause the tape. Can I get a price check on Soul on aisle 3? Price check on Soul aisle 3. You heard it, gang. Rewind it.
Rotten to the core. Worth nothing. Throw it out in the fucking dumpster. Out
something
back.
Specific like chattel slavery. We agree that chattel slavery is wrong. Right. Well, if we agree on that, then let's get to the third premise. Then therefore,
the Christianity is wrong.
Now,
God doesn't exist.
Not,
what the fuck is wrong with him? Slavery is wrong.
Super coons.
Bible contains a slavery manual. Gods and monsters.
Because
done.
Yeah.
There is.
He just put slavery on the poker table and he used it as an ace card to win a debate. You don't like slavery. I don't like slavery. Therefore, my God exists.
And let me talk about aspirational coonery for a second. Think about these guys here. They have to dance for butter biscuits harder than Candace Owens because they're trying to make a come up in the coon movement, right? They're trying to get a better seat at Master's table. So they literally have to coon harder for less money to show that they have potential to have a bigger platform to do even more weaponized coonery. I mean, this is something else here.
Instead of taking the experience of
it's like
our
Amala
ancestors,
from PragerU,
putting it right here and saying, I'm going to honor this, I'm going to protect this. He put it on the table and used it as an ace card. These are two of the soulless, most heartless. Gang, I would much rather a white person call me a nigger than sit here and have a conversation with these two idiots. If he busted that shit out on me, I would get up, I would turn around, and I would walk away. And I would not even address any of this bullshit. If a black person ever said that to me, to my face,
you are lost.
and then I would get up and I would walk. As far as I'm concerned, I am looking at two self-hating Negroes. Roll the tape. This
Oh
is
my goodness.
fucked up.
Jump to it straight that quick. Sometimes that may not be appropriate for every conversation, but just giving an example, I think that, those kinds of moral angles can be helpful when dealing with the black atheists, because you can find that point of connection on these concerns and give a better account for them.
That's right. And it's like that core issue that they have towards probably theism in general and Christianity in general. And to be more specifically too, instead of looking at it just from, if God exists, objective morals exist, you also can take into account the biblical concept of identity. You know what I mean? The Imago Dei, right?
Sure.
The what? The who?
Well, I think that's foundational. Man, this could get into a whole different bag, but I'm trying to hold back a little bit. So you have to subscribe to the channel so you can get the rest of this answer. But you're right. I think the best account of who we are and why we are bearers of the kinds of rights.
Pause the tape.
Bearers of the kinds of rights.
I learned this probably about 10 years ago. Apparently, an argument in the black, I didn't hear this because, again, when I was a kid, again, both these fuckers are probably in their early to mid 30s, not even mid to late 30s. They don't know what it means to have a world without high-speed internet. Maybe this argument has been around for a while. I've just never heard it. I'm about to belch. I just belch. Hashtag. You guys notice that it's not gin today?
Oh, what is that?
Scotch.
Ooh.
Back on topic. Yeah, I put a
Spicy.
fucking rock in it. Go fuck yourself. Let's do this. The argument is God gave us the transatlantic slave trade.
There you go.
To bring the heathen Africans
There you go.
to the Americas.
There you go.
So that we can have true Christianity. Okay. Fuck you. Fuck
Seriously, fuck out of here.
You're again so addicted to being correct. The last person standing during a debate.
Thank God we got enslaved for a false
one of the
religion.
most horrific crimes
so good.
ever. And use it as a debate trump card. Please go fuck yourself. These two fuckers are now on the same vein as fuckface Frank. I'm so frazzled I can't even think straight. I can't believe I'm actually listening to this. When fuckface Frank Turk sat there in front of a Jew, gang, the fucker did it in front of a Jew. He sat there and he clicked on his little fucked up ass projection screen. And again, I told you, it's one of the most iconic. Let's go back to StreamYard real fast so I can see what the fuck's going on.
Super coonery.
He took
powers
his clicker
activate.
and clicked on a thingamapopper during a debate against Dave Silverman. Now, motherfuck what you think about Dave Silverman right now. This was before Dave Silverman lost his fucking mind. He sat there, and again, it's one of the most iconic pictures of all time. You literally have a wall of butt naked Jewish people dead, butt naked, probably hundreds of them, not an ounce of dignity in any. Shut the fuck up. They were going to shove those bodies into a mass grave, dust it with lye, then bury it. You guys remember what fuckface Frank Turk said? That insensitive sack of shit said, if there is no God, there's nothing wrong with this. It's just your opinion. Gang, do you understand how fucked in the fucking head you have to be to tell a Jew, much less anybody, if there is no God, there's nothing wrong with this? What the fuck is wrong with you? Now I'm sitting here looking at two black dudes saying the exact same thing, except it's about what happened to us, to me, to these two, oh, where's my finger? To these two fuck faces. Okay, this is why Hitchens entitled his book, God is Not Great, Why Religion, look, now Buddy's mad. Look, Buddy's like, Dad, what's going on? This is fucked up, Dad. You want to see? Look, Buddy. Buddy can't even see. Look, Buddy. Look at these fuckers. You see him? Look how disgusted Buddy looks. He's like, Dad, this is sitting on some bullshit. Now, Dad, when are you going to make some chicken for me? Hold on, Buddy. Give me another hour. Back on topic. You've got two dudes so addicted to being right, to being the last person standing. They're taking the experiences of their own ancestors and they're wiping their asshole with it. Holy shit. Let's wrap this up. Roll the fucked up ass tape.
And value that they're concerned about is really rooted in the Imago Dei. It has nothing to do with one's capacities, what you're able to do, or whatever. It's best grounded in something that's fixed, like what we can see in Christianity. And so, I have that discussion with folks all the time. Man, I'm like, hey, I agree that again, slavery was jacked up, but can you tell me why? On atheistic paradigm, give me your account, I give you mine, and we'll see which one weighs out. So that's kind of how I like to approach it.
That's right. Well,
on the
account, I give you mine, and we'll see.
I
agree that again, slavery was jacked up, but can you tell me why? On atheistic
totally. Just here goes again. He's saying it again
all the time, man. I'm like, hey, I agree that again, slavery was jacked up, but can you?
It's just Canadian Catholic. It's just, it's just Darth Dawkins. It's the
yes.
You're just swallowing the same goddamn crap. It's like, well, how do you know? 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 What's your ground for saying that? You have no grounds for having morality because you don't without God Almighty, you don't have any grounds to stand on as far as taking a moral position is concerned. Within the atheist paradigm, where's that? I'll show you mine. You show me yours. I go fuck yourself.
I know, exactly.
Just fuck off.
Amen, Stephanie.
Tell me why on atheistic paradigm. Hey, I agree that again, slavery was jacked up. Can you tell me why on atheistic paradigm? Give me your account. I give you. Hey, again, slavery was jacked up. But can you tell me why on atheistic paradigm? Give me your account. I give you mine.
Give me your account. I'll give you mine. Literally,
so that's how I like to approach it.
That's right. Well, no, appreciate.
Hey, he said it.
Gang, you will struggle. You will struggle to find two examples of self-hatred stronger than what it is we all were just subjected to. Gang, Uncle Bobby's only giving you one big motherfucking problem. So as a result, Uncle Bobby's going to give you one big motherfucking solution. The coons, shut the fuck up. Gang, that really took the wind out of my sails. Now I'm definitely going to go out back and sit on the deck with my boys. You got this coon, and you got this coon. Gang, I can get any of my atheistic white brothers to sit right here and to sit right there. Hey, my white brothers, let me ask you a quick question. What do you think about slavery? Uncle Bobby, that shit was all kinds of fucked up. Done. It's not an argument. It's not a debate. These are coons. And what's the Uncle Bobby litmus test for a coon?
Blindfold.
Write down what someone just said. Put it on a piece of paper. Give it to someone and say, who just said that? A white person who hates black people?
Tucker Carlson.
Or a black person? You're
or
already
Martin
wrong.
Luther King. Who do you think?
You're already wrong. You had this fucknuts minimizing the severity of slavery. Then you had this coon, that's right, that's all right. Let's make moms happy. If there is no God, what's wrong with the slave masters raping the niggas?
Sorry, Ro.
Post is a good man.
Got hit with the butt.
I wouldn't argue either one of these assholes because there's nothing to argue. I don't give a shit what you have to say about this transatlantic slave trade because you're a coon. I don't care what your thoughts are on how bad the white slave master treated people that look just like us, I don't care, because you're a coon. I don't have to have a robust justification for my anger on the shit that happened to people that look like me and these two fuck faces. I don't have to justify that. Just know that I'm angry. And I'm going to fight my ass off to make sure it doesn't happen ever again. These two fuck knuckles are satisfied. But hold on, go back. Go back. Listen to how he
own
ended
the
that shit
atheist
off.
epic style.
You share the man's count. I give you mine, and we'll see which one weighs out.
We'll see which one weighs out.
That's what he's more
Lord.
important. That's what's more important to him.
Wow, I really.
Well, you tell me your justification. I'll tell you mine. We'll see who weighs out. I don't give a shit about your fucking justification. I don't. More importantly, the actions don't care about your fucking justifications.
If I was
There was
alive
no
during slave
justification
times,
strong
exactly.
enough to stop our people from being stripped from the continent of Africa and brought to the Americas. There was no moral justification strong enough to stop the slave traders from raping the African women right there in fucking front of us. There was no moral justification strong enough to stop it. There was no moral justification.
And how many of them were
for
pastors?
throwing slaves over the fucking boat and laughing while they fucking drowned. There was no justification strong enough. There was no justification strong enough as they put us on the fucking auction block and auctioned us off
Again.
like we were pieces of fucking property, because legally that's what we were. There was no justification strong enough for the slave owners raping the African slaves, impregnating them, and then putting the babies up. True story.
I just got to remind people, when they say we were 2/3 of a person, they don't mean
3/5.
or 3/5. Sorry, 3/5 of a person.
Accurate.
They don't mean we actually had 3/5 of the value of whatever the fuck a human life is worth. They literally meant the people who owned us wanted some representation for their property.
See, but Jay, maybe they had an argument. I don't know. I have to go back and look at the debates. Maybe they started at 2/3. Well, no, that's too much.
That was part of the that was part of the negotiations, right? But it's crazy how even that little detail, like, it was really about us as property, not about us as people. Even in that little detail, it's fucked up.
What it was really about, though, Jay, it's worse than that. It was really about white men's property.
Right.
It was really about white men's control of the government. It's like, well, it's 3/5, 2/3. I don't know, but as long as the northern honkies have a good shot, it was basically to win Virginia,
right? And it was brokering.
It was
brokering to accept the damn traitors.
Yeah.
Well, we know you're a bunch of treasonous assholes who just started a fucking war over slavery, but you don't. If that'll bring you to the table,
that predated that.
Oh, did it? I don't remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah, way. This is the founding of the goddamn country. It was to get the southern states, the slave-owning states, to sign on to the federal constitution.
That's awful.
Yeah, it's written in the fucking constitution.
Well, this is why we need to get rid of the founding fathers mythology, but we'll tackle that some other time.
Just teach the history. It's there. Those debates are on paper. You can read them. You can read the original stories. And that's precisely what the motherfucking people in Florida and Georgia and the neo slave owner, would-be slave owners that are trying to achieve, is that we can't read that history. I mean, it's there. You can read it.
They're trying to burn it.
Yeah.
This is fucked up. All right, let's wrap this thing on up.
for fucking gator bait down here in the fucking South, please go fucking fuck yourself. You're looking at on your screen right now 3 black dudes that would have been bucks. They would have worked us to literal death. Your moral justification, whatever your fucking name in with the dreads, the braids, there would have been no moral justification strong enough to stop the white slave owner from whipping the skin off your fucking back. That's only after there was no moral justification strong enough to stop the slave owner from raping your fucking wife in front of your fucking face. Gang, you just saw 2 examples of self-hatred. Taking the experiences of our people and laid it on the, instead of protecting it, instead of putting it near and dear to your heart, after hearing those stories that can only be described as gut-wrenching. The only thing to do is put those stories near and dear to your heart, and you treasure them. You cherish them. You honor the sacrifices, the blood. What you don't do is put it on the fucking table like you're playing a fucking game of spades. Someone thought they won the whole goddamn book, but you threw out the high joker because you said, hey, if there is no God, what was wrong with the slave trade?
And what do you mean by that?
These 2 fuckers are a bunch of fucking coons. Gang, the big guy's held you long enough. He's signing the fuck off. Gin and Truth, let's go.
All right. So awesome. Hosting shows with Uncle Bobby's great, but we haven't done a Uncle Bobby review around here in a while. Definitely wanted to get on that. Man, the problem with black atheism is that there aren't enough of them. Where are all these pockets of atheism these dudes were talking about? And yeah, it's a whole thing. Like, how many of the black people you know are atheists, and how many atheists do you know are black people? Both of those numbers are usually alarmingly small. I feel really privileged now to know a lot more black atheists. When I started this journey, the answer was me, myself, and I. that was the only 3 black atheists I really knew. I've been fortunate.
I can throw a shout out. I just found this small creator, Greater Sapien. I'll put the link in the chat. Looks like he's got some cool stuff.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Do a collab.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We should check him out. Let me pull it up here too, so I can do that. All right, gang. Look, I want to do some gaming or something and have some fun and eat some foods and do the things. So come hang out and gather. Don't forget, we're always there. Appreciate you guys. This was super fun, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget, God's not real. Grow the fuck up. Love you guys. See you next time. Set 'em gone.
Why she wanna leave me alone? Saying all I do is wrong. No rights when they been left turns. Playing that she gotta let it burn. Saying that the house not a home. Sunshine cause she heard it all before. Sometimes she don't wanna be alone. Most times she don't want me gone. She don't know I try my all. She don't know I sprung in the sun, but I'm going in the winter, so we good to the fall. Remember how I told you I get it and I win. Now I'm got it, you ain't answering my call. Wonder if I've been moving too strong. Maybe I just been moving too boss. Really hate when the feeling get lost. Nowadays she just dodge my calls. In the game throwing laws like Paul. Young legend Miss John like Wall. And I wish you never met like Call. Dick game lay it down like law. Made plans but you canceled them all. I was just trying to splurge in the mall. Now I'm home stacking bread till you call. It's time to roll. She tryna slide. We smoking Zah. Stop acting shy. Cause you a demon when I get between your thighs, girl. You like my rib, you know I need you by my side, girl. It's time to roll. She tryna ride. We smoking. Stop acting shy. Cause you a demon when I get between your thighs.